Hey everyone, welcome back to Learn English Beyond Words. I'm John, and today, well, I'm 5 minutes late. My routine today was a total disaster.
Don't worry, John. We've all been there. I'm Carol. Today we are talking about daily routines. This is one of the first things you learn in English, but it's also one of the things people get wrong the most because they try to make it too complicated.
Exactly. You don't need to be a poet to describe your day. You just need a few solid patterns. As teachers, Carol and I see students getting stuck on things like the third person singular or prepositions of time.
The famous S at the end of verbs. We're going to fix that today. We see English as a life tool, and your routine is the foundation of your life. If you can describe your day, you can connect with anyone, from a coworker to a new neighbor.
Today, we are going to look at the clock words, the bridges that connect your actions, and how to talk about your schedule without sounding like a robot reading a grocery list. Stick around because later in the video, I'm going to share the anchor habit technique. It's a way to remember the correct English grammar by connecting it to one thing you do every single day, like drinking water or checking your phone.
And I'll be explaining the time marker secret. It's a simple way to use at, in, and on perfectly every time without ever looking at a grammar book again. It's all about the size of the time.
Okay, Carol, let's start with frequency. In a routine, we do things, well, frequently, but students often just use always for everything.
Right, I always wake up, I always eat, I always sleep. It's a bit repetitive. Let's look at the percentage scale. Think of your day as a pie.
100% is always something you do every single day. I always brush my teeth.
80% is usually your normal habit. I usually drink coffee.
50% is sometimes, maybe 3 days a week. I sometimes go for a walk.
0% is never. 0. I never smoke. And here is the smart friend tip. These words usually go before the action. I usually work, not I work usually.
Keep it simple. Person plus frequency plus action. I plus always plus study. If you follow that pattern, you will never be wrong. Now, Carol, we have to talk about the snake.
The S sound. When we talk about ourselves, the verb is easy. I work, I eat, I drink tea. But when John talks about me or I talk about John, everything changes.
Carol works. Carol eats. Carol drinks tea.
As experts, we know why this is hard. In many languages, the verb stays the same or changes completely. In English, we just add that little S or Z sound.
Think of it as a badge of honor for the third person. He, she, it gets the badge.
If you forget it, don't panic. People will understand you. But if you want to sound more like a smart friend, try to hiss a little bit at the end of those verbs when talking about your boss, your spouse, or your pet.
Okay, I promised the time marker secret. How do we know when to use at, in, and on?
It's all about precision. At is for the point. Think of a tiny dot on a clock. At 7 o'clock, at noon, at night.
On is for the surface. A day is like a flat surface on a calendar. On Monday, on my birthday, on weekends.
In is for the container. A month or a part of the day is like a big box you're inside of. In the morning, in March, in 2024.
So small, at, medium, on, and large, in.
Exactly. If it's a specific time, use at. If it's a day, use on. If it's a big period of time, use in.
A routine isn't just a list of sentences. I wake up, I eat, I shower. That sounds like a caveman.
We need bridges. These are words that connect your actions so the story flows. First, then, after that, finally.
These are so powerful. Instead of 3 short sentences, you have one long story. First, I wake up. Then I have coffee. After that, I start work.
Notice that we usually put a small pause, a comma, after these words when we speak. It gives your listener time to process the information.
I'm feeling much more organized already. I might actually fix my routine tomorrow.
If you're finding these routine blocks helpful, please give this video a like. We want to help everyone build a better day in English.
And subscribe to Learn English Beyond Words. We're your co-teachers and friends, helping you turn study time into lifetime. Now let's get ready for the simulation.
All right, it's time for the real-life simulation.
This is where we put the frequency words, the snake sound, and the bridges together. Carol and I are going to talk about our typical work-from-home routines.
Listen for how we describe the order of our actions. We're going to speak at a natural, friendly speed. Not too fast, but not like a textbook either.
Pay attention to the at, in, and on markers we use. Let's jump into it. Hey, Carol, I feel like I'm always busy, but I never get anything done. What does your typical day look like?
Oh, I have a very strict routine. First, I always wake up at 6 a.m.
6 a.m.? That's so early. I usually wake up at 7:30.
Well, I like the quiet. Then I meditate for 10 minutes. After that, I make a green smoothie. What about you? Do you eat breakfast?
Sometimes. I usually just have a large coffee. I start work at 8:30. I usually work in my home office until noon.
My husband is the same. He starts work early too. He never takes a break. In the afternoon, I usually go for a run on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
That's healthy. I hardly ever exercise during the week. I'm too tired. I finally finish work at 6 p.m. and then I just relax and watch TV.
It sounds like you need a bridge between work and sleep, John.
You're probably right. I really do need to start exercising. But did you hear the snake in that simulation?
Yes, I said my husband starts work early and he never takes a break.
Even though Carol was talking to me, she was talking about her husband. So the S sound came out to play.
And did you notice the just? John said, I just relax. It made his evening sound very calm and low pressure.
We also used our bridges, first, then, after that, finally. Okay, I promised the anchor habit technique for grammar.
Tell us, John, how does it work?
Choose one thing you do every day. Let's say drinking water. That is your anchor. Every time you take a sip together, say a routine sentence about someone else in your head.
For example?
Every time I take a sip, I think, my mom lives in Florida, or my boss drinks tea. Because you're doing a physical action, your brain remembers the S sound much better.
That's brilliant. You're anchoring the grammar to a physical habit.
It works for at, in, and on, too. Every time you look at your watch, say, at blank. It builds muscle memory in your brain. This is a big one for beginners. Do I make my bed or do my bed? Do I make exercise or do exercise?
This is a classic smart friend challenge. Make is for creating something that wasn't there before, like make breakfast or make a list. And yes, we say make the bed because you are creating a neat bed.
I always remember it this way. Do is for work and chores. Make is for food and creativity.
That's a perfect rule of thumb.
Carol, have you heard that it takes 21 days to build a routine?
I have, but science actually says it's closer to 66 days for a habit to become automatic.
66 days, that's a lot of English practice.
It is, but the good news is that it doesn't have to be perfect. If you miss one day, it's okay. The important thing is the total volume.
Total volume, I love that. It means the total amount of time you spend with the language over a long period.
Exactly. Speaking for 5 minutes every day is much better than speaking for 3 hours once a week. Your brain loves consistency.
To finish, let's give our viewers some social tools. How do you ask someone about their routine?
Keep it simple.
What's your morning like?
Do you have a busy week?
What do you usually do on weekends? What are you up to this weekend is another great one for the now versus routine balance.
Remember, when you ask a question, use do for you. Do you, do they. But if you ask about a he or she, the S moves to the helper.
Does she work? Does he work? The S jumps to the helper.
The S is very jumpy. But once it jumps to does, the main action becomes simple again. Does she work? Not does she works.
We've built a great day today, Carol, from green smoothies to green grammar.
It's been a blast. Remember, everyone, your English routine is just like your morning coffee. It's better when you do it every day.
Don't worry about being a perfect speaker. Just focus on being a consistent speaker.
Use your bridges, watch your time markers, and don't forget the snake when you talk about your friends.
We are so proud of you for showing up today. You are already better than you were yesterday.
Stay curious, keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next video.
We'll see you soon for more Learn English Beyond Words.
Bye, everyone. Have a great routine today.
See ya!